Hello, everyone. Welcome to Bear Academy and BearTalk, the podcast about technology, product, and design. Speaking of design, if we take it as a larger scope, a high-level design, it's not only about the design stuffs, but also about design our life and have a better ways of living. That's why we have today's guest, Ciao, who will introduce how she started her career as a design life coach and also how to live a life as a digital nomad. This could be a really challenging conversation because Ciao and I are good friends while she was in Auckland and we met a lot of times. And so we might not control ourselves without laughing too much. So yeah, just be ready for that. But before that, let's welcome the guest for today, Ciao. And I have a little bit of introduction on you, like you are ICF registered life coach with 600 plus coaching hours, CMW, catalyst. Yeah, and digital nomad, and also music and yoga, food lover, a lot of things. But before that, maybe just a simple question to start the conversation in an easy way. So,
Sure.
for the last 12 months, which are the cities that you've lived in? Like from the
Oh,
last 12 months?
that's such a great question. If we're counting back 12 months, then I was in Auckland and now I'm traveling and working in China. So I actually came back to China on January 2022, or like actually last year, December 2021. Yeah, but you've got 21 days of quarantine, and then you could be out. So it's about half years in Auckland and half years in China now.
Yep. So yeah, the reason I'm asking this question is because it's like this is during two cities, right? Or two different cultures. So that's really I'm really curious about how do you find this this experience so far, and maybe and also a little bit about yourself. Maybe could you do a quick introduction about who you are and what you're doing,
Okay.
things like that. Yep.
Sure. Thank you. First of all, I would like to say a great thanks to Bear for inviting me to the podcast, for having this podcast today. I know Bear is a great guy, and we, as you mentioned, we have met a couple of times in Auckland. I even went to your places for a hot pot hogo
Yeah.
a few
Love
times.
it.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, I know that there are a lot of people who are listening to this podcast. Probably we're like-minded people or people with a similar frequency who are following this channel. So it's my great honor, really. I'm really thrilled to be on this channel and be able to chat a bit about me, about you, and about my current life. So great privilege. Thank you very much. A quick introduction about myself. Well, I'm Ciao, and I actually don't know. It's a bit hard. I think I am a possibility provider. I enjoy providing, possibilities to people, to my clients, to my friends, to my family. And I'm also a CMW catalyst, which means I help people to create meaningful work in life. By doing that, I am a ICF registered life coach because you need certain technique and certain training to be able to do that job well. And yeah, also I'm a meditator. I really enjoy meditating, great food, great music. And I was a cancer survivor. I guess that's enough about me, just in a nutshell.
Wow. The final point is really impressive. Let's keep the topic later for details.
Yeah, sure.
Speaking of starting as a career coach, or I really like your description about yourself, like a possibility provider.
Provider.
So that's a great point. How did you find this? to describe yourself like at the very beginning?
I think, when my clients, they came to me, usually they feel like somewhere stuck or somewhere not fitting right in their life. And most of the time it's about perspectives. And when they are stuck in certain perspective, they feel like, oh, I've no way out. I'm feeling stuck. But actually, by gently shifting the perspective or awakening their own awareness, it's actually opening up the whole world, a whole different world and whole different perspectives for
Yeah.
them, or they actually found those possibilities by themselves. We don't provide much suggestions or advice in our service. So after that, they will feel like, oh, okay, life doesn't have to be that way, or I don't have to think in that way. There are much more possibilities than where I'm stuck in right now. So I think, from there, I got inspired from my clients about, oh, okay, actually, I think I'm a possibility provider.
Yeah.
I'm a possibility provider who can help people to find more possibilities in their life.
Yeah, I really like this definition of what you're doing, because I mean, for a lot of people might have this assumption, like as a coach, it's just to give people to directions, or even like
Yeah.
the like
Life
suggestions.
mentor.
Yeah, life mentor, or like this is the way you're going to that way, and things like that. But it
Nah.
sounds like you're providing like enable their way to enable the possibilities from what they
Yeah.
are currently have, but they haven't realized. Is that something different between a coach or a teacher or like a boss or
A
mentor?
mentor,
Yeah,
counselor,
yeah,
psychologist, whoever you name it. Yes, I must say there's a strong distinction between consultants and coaches. Not saying that which one's better or which one's worse. It's just saying that they have different roles under different circumstances. Sometimes you do need a consultant. You do need a mentor to actually give you some tips or some guidance about where to go in your life or what to do about this certain subject. But as a coach, I really love how you describe it. I think that was pretty accurate. It's about enabling people, actually awakening the power that's already within them to make them realize or have that self-awareness rather than telling them what to do. Because we believe, our clients are naturally creative, resourceful, and whole. And meanwhile, we also believe that they are the expert of their life. What kind of resources they can find, who can help them, how much money they've got. They know the answers. We don't.
yeah,
So what we can do is actually to enable them and by asking powerful questions, by reflecting about what they said, by summarizing, by challenging, by championing. We use a lot of different techniques and tools in our coaching sessions to, just really help them explore themselves, have more self-awareness. Once they become aware how they think and why they are thinking in a certain way, then there becomes a space where they can make conscious choices for themselves.
Is it like would take it longer than just giving an answer for those people? So is there any struggle that people would say, oh, I just come to you to find an answer? It's something like that.
Usually would not these days.
Okay.
Because I've been doing this for over 3 years now, so I have a pretty robust onboarding process. So
Nice.
also in my daily communication, in my daily marketing or my daily articles, I do kind of let people know or set expectations about what coaching is and what coaching is not. So initially, before the client come and talk to me, I will usually send them a short introduction about what coaching is and what coaching is not, and then I usually offer a 30 minutes free chat with each client, potential client, so we can kind of do that chemistry check and connect and understand about the topic and the expectations of the client.
Yeah.
During those 30 minutes chat, I'll directly tell them this is not an advice giving session. It's more about enabling yourself, blah, 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 what we just talked about. And then later on, once the client say, okay, no problem, let's sign a contract. In the contract, I will emphasize that again. So it's like 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, a lot of steps
4.
to
Yeah,
filter
yeah.
out those.
Yeah, keep emphasizing, keep educating about that piece of information that coaching is not about advice giving, and it's not about chicken, like what we call it, 心灵鸡汤, like hard chicken soup,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, something like
And
that.
and also, and it's we won't tell you what to do. So yeah, it's a continuous education process.
Yeah, because I think for many people might have some similar first impression, like myself at first, like a few years ago when I hear, I had a coach for doing something, and I'm just thinking, oh, it sounds like a specialist providing suggestions and guidance or things like that, but it seems much deeper or different from that.
It's
But
different.
yeah.
It's different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for clarifying that. That's really helpful for,
No problem.
for many people. And
No worries. I was thinking the same as well at the beginning. Oh, life coach is like a life mentor. Is she or he going to tell me what to do about my life?
yeah, and
Yeah, it's quite normal.
because it's also the titles sounds a little blurry, like with some arbitrary that you find.
Yes.
What does it do, or like
Yeah.
But that's a really good good starting point for this discussion, and
honestly speaking, even I've explained a few times about what life coaching is. I would still say it's quite difficult to be explained. Usually, I will tell my clients to actually just give it a try, and you will know, you will feel it, because it looks very similar to like counseling or to other type of consulting services, but the energy and the way of the type of conversations could be very different. And in our service, and we could be very, very creative, and we use a lot of embodiment experience in coaching. Like, I don't know about other coaches, but for me, embodiment is a big part of it, and that's probably rarely being seen in other. For example, like consulting, you won't see a consultant tell you, "Hey, let's get up and dance for a little bit." That's quite rare.
Yeah. I think that's a 21st century's problem for many people to describe their job to the elders or to other people, like what do we do? And same problem happened on me as explaining what a product designer is, what a UX designer. But that's another story. Yeah, let's focus on yours.
Yeah.
And I think you are not natural born as a coach. So how did it started? Like what was the first step, and what was the what was this what is this whole journey like from the very beginning?
I would say when you say I'm not a natural born coach, I would say yes and no to a certain
That's
extent.
a really good point. Yeah. Now I'm curious.
I remember when I was a little girl, I always had so many questions. 10万个为什么.
Yeah.
So my father used to be really speechless with me, and he said, "Oh, why you have so many whys?" But naturally, I enjoy asking questions. I was just naturally curious about people, about things. And then when I was working, I used to work in one of the polytechnics in New Zealand. I was in their international office. And then there were quite a few international students. They would actually come to me and started to seek life advice and job hunting tips and stuff like that. And I didn't even know why. It's just naturally people will see something in me and they will come to me. So I was offering some services or some free advice and tips and help them to like correct their CVs and look at their job hunting journey or cover letters and stuff like that. So that was already a big hint, like for me to, when I look back, I realized that, okay, so other people saw something in me that I was not able to see in myself at that time. And then, but at that time, I didn't know about coaching. So I was doing a lot of consulting, advice giving, and I feel burned out pretty quickly because those students are from different industries, from IT to construction to marketing to everything. I can't be the expert of every single industry.
Yep.
And then I feel really exhausted, so I stopped for a while. And then I was working for New Zealand government, one of the agencies. And then from there, I happened to know someone who was doing coaching. I feel like, sometimes when you know a job title, when you know a certain particular industry, a job, it's like dating someone you feel so right. The moment I heard about coaching, I was like,
Click.
ooh, what is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds so sexy, sounds so interesting. And then naturally, I was just curious about that. And I started researching and getting to know it a bit more. And then I hired a coach to coach myself to really experience that. What is it? And then I feel like, wow, that was really powerful. And indeed, she did not give me much advice or whatsoever. And I was able to turn my head around. And I was going through a very difficult, challenging time in my life at that time. You probably knew it. But with coaching, I was able to, handle that in a relatively smooth way because there was so much changes going on and emotional roller coasters time.
Yep.
But luckily, with coaching, with meditation, I was able to cope. And from there, then I started sign up some, cheap or even some free courses, get to know coaching. Initially, I didn't design or plan anything. I was just feel like, oh, this is cool. I want to learn it to help myself. That was it. And also I hired a coach to help myself. So I feel like, oh, this is really helpful. But the more you learn it, the more I feel like, wow, this is really cool. I wish that other people could know this. I wish other people can know, there's such a way to communicate so effectively and in such an enabling way as well. And it could be so efficient.
Yep.
And then I decided to actually, went for that kind of professional, coaching way. And then I signed up another course and then another course and another course, which led me to, step by step towards the ICF credential pathways and certifications and registrations and everything. So I think it happened kind of naturally. I was really just following the hint and the feeling in my heart. And eventually, I got where I am.
Yeah. It sounds like an exploration or discovery journey. Like at first, you didn't see it, but people are reaching out to find suggestion or support because they see something from you.
Yes.
That's great because
Yes.
that's already see the potential. But later you
Yeah.
find it's a great way to enable yourself first, and then
Yes.
you can explore how the future possibilities for yourself can be, and also
Yes.
like now you're helping other people by doing coach. So that's really really awesome, and yeah, I think the this could be something quite similar for other types of the jobs or for exploring other domains, other parts. So for you, it sounds like coaching at first. It's just something as a
Hobby,
really hobby
even.
and
Yeah.
and also like have a lot of interest, but now it's become your career. So
Yeah.
it's and how do you find so far like this as your career, and what do you have any like what you are working at as a career coach, as a life coach, and then are there any future plans, like if you can share a little bit?
Oh, thanks. And I found it, I really enjoy my life right now. As you explained, I am living a digital nomad lifestyle right now. Currently, I'm in Fujian, but I'm heading to Shenzhen soon, then later on Dali and maybe Sichuan. I don't know where I'm going to be. Usually this week, I don't know where I'm going to be next week. It's really intuitive and it's quite impromptu, my life schedule these days. So to answer your question, in a nutshell, no, I don't have much plans, but the plans will always show up when it has to show up.
Yep.
And I just follow them. And currently, yes, I'm working as a life coach. Most of my clients come to me, want to discuss or explore their life purpose, their career journey, their life path, where they want to live, what kind of life they want to design, and also sometimes intimate relationships or like in general, like relationship problems or issues they have in life. So that's currently the main topics that I'm coaching on. How do I find it? I find it really rewarding and humbling. I often say this might sound a bit arrogant, but I often say that I feel like I must have done a lot of good things in my previous life so I can deserve this type of job in my current life.
Feel blessed.
Yes, absolutely. Because I feel like, coaching has completely changed my life. My life could be split into two parts. One is when I didn't know coaching, and the other part is after I know coaching. And when you are actually talking to the clients, because the clients are so smart and they are so resourceful and creative, sometimes you feel like the problems they bring to you, I also don't have an answer for that. I actually don't know either. But when you're talking to them and exploring, and they suddenly come up with some really classic, smart, wise solutions or way of looking at things. And I, as a coach, I feel so inspired by that as well.
Yep.
I was like, wow, damn, like she's good. And then that actually solved my life problem as well.
And they pay for you.
Exactly. So,
How good
oh my
it
God.
is. Yeah.
I know, what kind of job what else you can ask for? Like, you talk to people and they solve your problem and they pay you.
Sounds like a job that everyone wants. That's great. Yep.
Well, yeah, if you find it suitable for you, so absolutely. So currently I'm holding sessions 100% online, but I do plan to run some offline workshops or some offline activities or like group coaching, or I'm planning on creating meaningful I'm working on creating meaningful work offline workshops in Yunnan.
Nice.
Hopefully, we can start the first one within this year. That's what I'm currently working on. I don't plan for things these days very much. This workshop came up because I attended this workshop, and I feel like it so resonates with me. And when I look back to my last, 3 years of my career life, it was pretty much quite spot on and following the principles on creating meaningful life, CMW. So I feel like that's a really practical, hands-on workshop, and also makes sense to me. And also it was a true reflection of my previous years. So I believe that that could really bring values to people when people feel puzzled or when they have confusions about their career choices or even their life choices. So this workshop could provide a great opportunity for them to... Can you hear me?
Yep, can hear.
Yeah, so I feel like this is a great workshop to help them, to provide spaces for them to really think about the things that they don't think often in their daily life. So that's currently what I'm working on. But long-term wise, I feel like I'm probably gonna keep working on my coaching career because I really enjoyed it. And plus, I'm gonna just explore a bit more because currently I'm learning something else just for fun, just for leisure. But we will see where life takes me to. And, just like how I started coaching, it was a hobby, a leisure, but now it's my job. So I look forward to whatever possibilities that life will brings me to, and I'll follow my heart, basically.
That's awesome. There are two things you mentioned earlier I want to dig in. One thing is digital nomad lifestyle, but that's another topic. We'll jump in soon. The one that you mentioned, that most of your coaching sessions currently is online, and some of them you're planning to do an offline events or offline activities.
Workshops.
Yeah, how do you find the balance of these two types of the formats, and any challenges of talking to your clients 100% online, and or like what's your any takeaways or any learning that you've got?
I feel like, many people will feel a bit hesitant or reluctant to have coaching sessions online, especially when I first started my coaching business. Most of my clients wanted to be offline. And so I did quite a few offline in Auckland when I was there. But you know what? Like COVID hits us.
Yeah. Take the
Everything
advantage
had
of
to
it.
be, everything has to be online. And then later on, I think my clients, they got used to it. And then initially I was also a bit worried, like, would it be different from offline and blah, blah, things like that. But later on, I realized that once if the clients and the coach, they have like mutual trust, even online, we can create a lot of different experiences, like the embodiment experience I was just talking about. Now I can actually dance or sing or, do yoga with my clients with Zoom or with Tencent meetings, whatever, online. And we are still able to create that atmosphere and that trust and the energy, co-creating that in that space, which is pretty amazing. And I have some clients who will not show up their face. They'll always turn the camera off. Like, I never know what they look like until today. They only want to do like voice call. But still, they found the coaching sessions beneficial for them, and they kept coming back to me. So I believe there must be something beneficial, good for them, that they are willing to keep trying on this format. So I don't know. For me, I don't find it very different, but I think if it's workshop, that's going to be quite different because you got like peer support and the energy flowing. I don't know, because I've done online, offline. I feel like there are certain differences. But for coaching sessions, I'm not sure. I don't know. It's hard to describe. Maybe there are some certain differences, but with whatever we have right now, we have to, use the best of it, which is online.
I'm so curious. Could you share a tip that to help building the trust with the people that you cannot see their face? Like, are there any tips or any ways that you might do for the better communication?
Yeah. So for that particular topic, I must say I feel really grateful and really humble for my for having great clients. When they come to me, they usually have stalked me or they have observed me for quite a long while. They probably have watched my videos. They have, came to my events and they have read my articles or whatever. They have known me for a while. Yeah. So once they come
observed
to me
you and
they already trusted me.
Yeah, that's okay. Sorry, I'm just interrupting.
They already trusted me in a certain way. So once they are willing to pay and become my official clients, they are usually somehow open to me and willing to explore with me. So that initial stage has already been done. And when we are in a session, if they don't turn on the camera, or sometimes they don't even want to see my face, so we'll use like just a voice call. It's really interesting to observe myself how conscious I could be when I don't see the client's face, like because my focus would be 100% on ears, right?
Yep.
So from there, if I close my eyes and I'm talking and listening to the clients, I'm able to capture a lot of the energies or a lot of the signals, the tone of the voice and things like that, which could be easily neglected in the normal coaching sessions, like Zoom or like video call face to face. That's one thing. So once you close your eyes, your ears become sharper. And another thing is, since these days I'm doing pretty much 100% online coaching sessions, I also observe the clients initially. Once you have their WeChat or you have their social media or whatever, you browse their social media, you look at their signature, you look at their picture, those places could tell you a lot of information as well. What's the energy like about these clients? What does the client like to talk about on the social media? And what's their photo? What does their photo look like? So that could also give me some signals and hints. And like we have 30 minutes free chat. That's also where I gather a lot of information and data about our clients and finding, or sometimes we call it like design alliances. We design alliances with the clients initially to understand what they're after, what's the expectation of our service, and what's the best way for me to support them. What do they want me to do more or less, that type of thing. And that's not only initially, it's throughout the whole coaching session. It's a co-creating process. I always encourage them to tell me what they need. That's also part of the enabling process.
I love it. I as a designer, really have some resonate about the two things you mentioned, like observation and it's more about to collect data from available channels, and also the things about hearing or about listening, that's really good because that's kind of like an active listening, in a
Deep listening.
in a really deep way to really
Yeah.
capture those cues that was missed during the video
Yeah.
chat, and like it was so easy, like the backgrounds or other things, or a little kid is walking behind you, and then yeah, those are the interruptions about the conversation. But
Yeah.
yeah, maybe capture, just really focus on the things they say, and capture those information, information speaked out, or and also those information haven't been speak out. So that's
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
great tip.
absolutely. So
Yeah.
in professional coaching, we say we have like 3 levels of listening, like level 1, level 2, level 3. Level 1 is a shallow thing, it's like it's a first level, and level 3 is like a deep listening level. So at level 3, we're not only listening about the client's energy or their emotions and whatever behind. We are also observing the chemistry, the atmosphere between us, between the clients, between this field, between the space. What's going on here? The whole space. For level 1, we are talking to. That's what we mostly do in our daily lives. We talk to defend. We don't talk to. We listen to defend. We don't listen to understand. That's called level 1 listening. And level 2, it's better. It's about understanding, trying to feel the energy and emotions behind the words. And level 3, it's deeper. Sometimes it's unspoken, body language, or like the whole energy flowing between that space. So yeah, we are trained in different types of listening. So that I found that level 2 and level 3 is really helpful when I'm doing like video call, like non-video, like voice calls with my clients.
Yeah. Wow. Haven't know that 3 levels of listening, and sounds like a superpower from some action heroes. Like, number 1, let's
Actually,
do it.
we all have it. We all have ability to listen at level 2 and level 3. If we're really calm, if we're really quiet, we
Yeah.
can really hear a lot of things.
Yeah. That's a great tip. Thanks for sharing. I love it, and highly recommend that. Myself will try it. Sometimes just close my eyes for the video meetings, and maybe I'll just try
Yeah,
when other people
try
not
that.
notice me.
Experience that.
Cool. And the other thing is about digital nomad, because like you already mentioned that you live on the, maybe just your business is all in your suitcase, like a laptop and some document, and all the files are somewhere else
Online. Yeah.
And also you don't limit it by specific cities. So
No.
how's that happen at first? Like, yeah,
Because COVID.
because COVID, right? That's an enabler for you.
Yeah, you know what? Like, I've always wanted to set up when I set up my coaching business initially, I was wanting to set up the business where, which you could allow me to travel and work. And I even talked to my coach about that initially. I was saying, I really have a dream. I wanna set up business where, which can allows me to work and travel.
Yeah.
And then the coach said, of course, you can certainly do that. She was encouraging me. And then I set up my coaching business. But at that time, most of the people will not accept online coaching. They would like to do offline.
Yeah.
So really, I have to thank COVID in that sense. So kind of forced everyone and educated everyone on how to use Zoom, how to do online sessions, as well as myself. And so I did not really design this to happen. I wanted to happen, but initially it wasn't really working. But later on, once COVID hits us, and then naturally it shifted online. And when all of my clients shifted online, I had a realization. I was like, oh, okay, now I can actually go to anywhere I want. Oh my God, this happened. My dream became true. And then I was like, okay,
still remember
great.
when it was happening, like that moment? And is there any like aha moment that you realized this?
I think when my last client, when I finished my last offline coaching client, there was one client who was really wanting to do offline. Like she refuses to do online, even with COVID. She said we can wait after COVID. So once I finished that client, and then I realized, all my clients are online right now. Woohoo! Wow, I have that freedom to go to wherever I want to right now. Gosh. Then you have the capacity to start planning, like, okay, cool. Then what's next? Where do I want to go? And I haven't been back to China for about 8 years, and I was like, I really want to explore China a bit more. And then things happen, then I just moved back.
Yeah. How do you manage the work and life while your clients, I guess most of them probably live out of China, or some of them living in another time zone, so things like that. Is there
I've
any
got
challenge?
I've got clients from Italy, from Netherlands, from Singapore, from UK, from China, from Malaysia.
International business. Well done.
Funny, when I first started my coaching business, about a year in, I think, I was really kind of having a lot of self-doubts and struggling and really thinking, should I quit this or should I not, that type of thing. And I went to a tarot reader, and she told me, she said, whatever you're doing right now, you're gonna do it really well, and this is gonna be an international business, whatever you're doing. And I was like,
Now
really? What? Yeah. Now you're talking about that, it suddenly reminds me of the conversation with the tarot reader.
Awesome.
Yes, I do need to work with different time zones. Luckily, I get up pretty early, so I'm able to get up like 5-6 a.m. in the morning, which is not a challenge for me. Probably because I'm getting old, but just joking.
Speaking of old,
Oh yeah, who am I talking?
Yeah. Okay, keep going. Not stop at this point.
So I have like UK clients where they are willing to work late. I have clients who are really, I usually ask them, what's your most awakened time? Like where you are able to think clearly, or able to have like critical conversations. And the UK clients say, in the midnight, 1 to 2 a.m. I was like, okay, right. And that's about 7-8 a.m. in China, and that works perfectly for me.
Perfect timing for you. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I just usually work with them about the time zone. When you say, how do I balance? I think our body has a lot of wisdom. So I tend to lean to my body and listen to my body quite a lot more these days. Because if the body is kind of feeling struggling or like tired or whatever, then I usually will not push myself too much. So I don't know. How do I balance? I don't really balance. I don't really plan these days. I just go day by day, and you have clients scheduling time slots, and then you have you can kind of cut the time out to design workshops or to kind of do a bit of future thinking. But most of the time, I feel like having fun and be happy in life is also really important. Even I'm a coach, but I wouldn't really think. I wouldn't only live for coaching, if you know what I mean. Like coaching is a part of my life. Yep. And as Ciao, I have a lot more to offer to this world than coaching. And I also need to have fun, have some great time with myself. Need to look after ourselves well, so I can look after my clients and the rest of my life. So I think that self-care is really, really important. So how do I balance? In a nutshell, when I listen to my body, so it's quite impromptu. Like if I feel tired, I stop working. If I feel my eyes are sore, I go out and have a walk and look at the mountain, look at the sea. If I feel like it's about time to design workshop, like my body knows. It's just naturally. Once I start collaborating or listening to my body more, my body can always give me the answer. So I just follow it. Yeah, but of course, when there are some deadlines and stuff like that, sometimes I always plan ahead and schedule the time back and plan time to do whatever I need to do and to meet the deadline. But usually like time management or energy management is not such a big topic that I need to work on these days. I have some other topics to work on, but not this one at the moment.
That's awesome, because I think what I've learned is that you're not only listen carefully with your client, but also to yourself, like to listen to your body, using deep listening as a technique.
Great summarizing.
To
Summarizing.
to learn
Yes.
yourself, and also
Yeah.
go not ad hoc, but more like go with the flow. So
Yes.
that
Yes.
not planning too much, which I think is really helpful for who's listening, because this podcast is like many audience who's listening this podcast are more like tech geek, or people really want some certainties or improve our productivity, or just to have a better plan, but something cannot be planned. And that is also something I'm learning right now, is to just to go with the flow and
Yeah.
design a better way and trust the system, so that
Yeah.
and then you don't need to plan everything, and then just have a better way of dealing of those signals, and then things will happen in a better way. So
I do plan, and I don't plan much. I think there's a really subtle, articulated fine line in between. Like, for example, I do have a thought like, hey, I want to plan a create meaningful workshop in this year, but I don't know when. I know it's going to be in Yunnan somewhere.
Yep.
So I have that thought. So I keep building on resources, asking people, connecting resources to that. And that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm so-called planning. But I don't have a rigid deadline. It must happen between when and when, because I know for something to happen, sometimes it takes more than my own effort. In Chinese, we say 天时地利人和. Like, even I really want it to happen. But what I can control is really, really small chunk of it. There are a lot of other things influencing whether this could happen or not. So what I will usually say is that I'll try my best within what I can control, do my best and leave the rest. That's usually what I believe in these days. Once you are more relaxed, and you are usually when you are more relaxed, you are more creative. You are more able to think of resources and people who can help you. When you're always tense and nervous, then your mind is narrowed, and your learning system is not really functioning well, and you can't think of it's much harder to think of any other resources or people who could help you. So living at the present moment is what I've been practicing a lot these days. I told my friend yesterday, I said, these days I usually think about if I really have somewhere I want to go, I might book a ticket today for a trip tomorrow if there's tickets available. And then I will go and find accommodation when I land there. And my friend's like, no, I can never do that. That would kill me. I need to plan. I was like, yeah, I know. I used to be like that. But the more you practice trust the universe, trust in yourself, the more things will be okay for you. That's how I feel. But maybe this is not for everyone.
Yeah. But I think that's also a really good reminder for people that get used to plan everything. Planning is everything, but plan is useless sometimes, because nobody can plan when COVID happened, what will happen. Yeah, what we will do, because before that nobody have predict that that was going to happen. So I love that. I love the go with the flow style. And speaking of the digital nomad, is there, I guess most of your business is online, and are there any tools that you're using frequently besides Zoom or like other things? Like how do you use, what are the tools that you're using for maintaining your business, like as a digital nomad?
Great question. Coaching is a really asset light business because most of the investment is not about renting the place, or you have to have a lot of equipment or manufacturing. It's very different. And most of the investment goes to the coach itself. So I spend a lot of money investing on myself, learning different coaching programs, observing different coaching demos, and also following like some masters, and I get like one-on-one coaching. I need to pay for that, and I get supervisions and blah blah blah, all that jazz. So that's where I spend most of my money on these days. But regarding the tools, I think, I need clients to book time with me, so I use Calendly. As simple as that.
Yep.
And then we use Zoom or like any type of online video call software apps, like Tencent meetings or whatever. And whatever is convenient for the clients, I will use that. And I use emails quite a bit because like we need to do coaching notes and summaries and coaching questions and all that jazz. So I use that as well. Other than that, I have a broken and old broken website which I haven't been updating for ages because I don't use it. Most of my clients are from referrals, or they came from my WeChat official account these days. So I don't use that website a lot. Other than that, no, I don't even do much marketing either these days. So
That sounds like a perfect business for individuals to start with just a laptop and all the investment on yourself, so which you can bring everywhere. Like,
but I must say, yes. In a nutshell, I just need to bring a laptop and I could do everything online. And that's why my mom usually, she was really puzzled about my job. And because I wanted to go to Yunnan and she wants me to stay at home, because I haven't been home for 8 years. And she's like, why don't you stay at home? And because you can do everything online, you just need your laptop and you can start, doing your work. But I must say, it's still very different. Like staying at home and staying in Dali or stay in the nature, like the energy field is very different.
Yeah.
And my body can feel it.
Yeah. You need the environment to enable those feelings.
It would be nice. Yeah, it would be nice to keep myself in the more natural space area. So I can feel the energy around me is quite free, it's quite different, it's quite energetic, it's quite vibrant. So yes, investing in myself to learn those coaching techniques and programs is important, but also actually it takes a lot of effort. I wouldn't say a lot of effort, but it takes some effort to keep myself in the working mode. Like, so I can be fully present for my clients, so I can be my best for my clients. And that type of requirements is quite rare for other jobs I've heard of. For example, if you're a product designer or you work like marketer or whatever, like you don't, like it's different. Like you don't always need to be in the nature. You don't always be to be in that particular certain shape or form to be able to give your best. That's how I felt. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a really good point of view, because I think, yes, if we think of digital nomad lifestyle as a possibility for everyone to work remotely, I think it can roughly divide it into two types of the work. One type is that you are a part of a large business and you provide the skill or your capability is on get the job done, like programmer, designer, marketer. So basically, if the business is online, you can do it wherever you live, wherever you are. But the second types of the digital nomad lifestyle is work remoters are the people who need those scenario change, need to change the scenarios to spark the inspiration. So like artists or like graphic designer and coach and other types of the work that involves interaction with people, and need to connecting those dots together. So I think that would be another type.
I guess like most people will perform better when they are in a more pleasant environment, I guess. By the way, I'm not saying that my home is not pleasant. Mom, I'm sorry.
She's not listening.
It's just saying that because at home it always feels different. And
Yeah.
when I'm outside, I feel like much freer. And we don't have a lot of green near my house. That's another thing as well. We have some. We have a little mountain there, but it's different from Yunnan, Dali, and you know that you're from Yunnan.
Yep.
I feel like people probably they can perform. That we always can perform better when we are in a more pleasant or natural open space environment. But there are some jobs which needs that a lot more than other type of jobs. And
Yep.
that's what I was talking like for coaches, we probably need that more than, for example, I don't know, no offense, but like programmers or whatever.
Accountant. Oh, yeah.
Maybe they could do better math, like when they're in the forest. You never know.
Yeah. Hope so. Cool. Yeah, that's I think that's kind of like a lifestyle which now became a trend
Yes.
since a few years ago, since COVID started. And before
Absolutely.
that,
Yeah.
it's just a really small amount of people just go to live like this. So it would be
So
good to
many
see,
these days.
yeah, how
I've
it
really
goes.
known I've already known quite a few digital nomad hubs in China already, like in Yunnan, in Zhejiang,
Yeah.
in even in Shanghai, Beijing, and in Hangzhou. There are quite a few digital nomad hubs these days.
Yeah. So just never know. Like the future is already here. Just maybe
Yeah,
still
that's how I
in
feel.
not just go spread all out, but still like it's already here. So right.
Definitely. I feel like in the future, like after the COVID, if the COVID finishes one day, I feel like a lot of things will be shifted fundamentally, especially how the employees collaborates with the company. If we are all able to work remotely, if there are more and more remote work opportunities comes up, I feel like the collaboration, the way of collaboration between the employees and company will be like USB type. You know, when there's a project, they plug
Yep.
in.
Yep.
Once the project finishes, they plug out.
Yep. There might be new problems and a lot of different possible issues will happen, especially about how to collaborate with different people remotely and online, offline. So, which means that your business will thrive. Like coaching could be a,
Oh,
yeah.
not sure it's a good or bad thing, but thank you.
Right. Yeah, we already talked a lot, and thanks so much for sharing that. I think I just keep asking two questions
Sure.
for this podcast, because I know that you have a lot of like experience on meditation and well-being and other topic, but that could be really good to discuss maybe in the future.
Yep.
Just two questions. Like, are there any things that you recommend or like inspired you, or currently you are reading or watching that inspire you, not only on the work perspective, but as a whole, like for Chow, like any books or courses or like movies, things like that you can recommend to the people who's listening?
Yep, sure. Well, there are so many. Where should I start? I feel like we briefly touch on my previous experience, and cancer was definitely a big highlight of it, low light and highlight. I feel like when really there's something big hitting your life, then a lot of the things which we used to grab on or feel like so important before suddenly you start challenging, questioning them. Like, what is really important for you? What kind of life do you want? We all know that we only live once, and we all have heard those wise words and whatever, but rarely it could really go and sink into your heart and manifest in your daily life. We know that we only live once, and then now I need to pay the mortgage. Great.
That's what I'm
So
doing.
not a bad thing. We all have bills to pay. But I really wish that people could just even spend a little bit of time from time to time to ask ourselves, what am I doing? Like, why am I even living this life? What do I really want for my life? What can I really do for this world, in a sense? So I started that question about 10, 12 years ago, because I had my first cancer. I had 2 times in total. So when I had my first cancer, I started searching for the answers. And there was one particular book which really helped me a lot. And I will always, every time when people ask me what books to recommend, I will always say that book. Maybe it's not for everyone, or maybe it's not for any time of everyone. Like, it takes particular time. It takes particular timing and experience, and I would say even sometimes fate to read that book. But if you can really have that destiny to connect with that book, and really, if it really resonates with you, then I think it could really change you in a fundamental way. The book is quite common. I think many people recommended it. It's called the Tibetan Living and Dying. The Tibetan Living and Dying, 西藏生死书. Yeah. So that's quite a spiritual book, but you don't have to look at it in a spiritual way. You just pick and choose whatever works for you, whatever resonates with you. If you feel like the religious part is a bit too much for you, then you can take that away. But still, reading on the parts you feel like that's going to benefit you. And when I was reading the book, I feel the great sense of peace and calm went through my body. Sometimes even just by looking at my bookshelf, the book is there, I already feel at ease and calm. I feel like, there's nothing, not a big deal. And whatever I'm facing at the moment, not a big deal. And I know that there is something grander, bigger than whatever I'm seeing right now in my life. And I'm possibly much bigger than I think. And when I say possibly here, I'm just saying in a humble way, because I do believe I'm much bigger than I think. Hopefully not the weight, but
That's a great.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, got it. That's so good, and I'm really impressed about this this sharing, because the book is that the same book that we are reading? Like, I also read that book, but that's just at a very early stage of my life, and just reading it as a kind of like a adventure. Like, wow, that's so different type of scenario described. But
there are people look at the world in such a different way, that type of thing. Yeah.
So now I a little bit understand, but that's really really a good a good experience, that you have a larger sense of the like feeling of the what is happening, and from a larger scale, not only from a personal moment.
I think for the same book, when you read it at different stage of your life, you always get different things from it. And I think that's one of the books I would certainly recommend. Another one is the Book of Life, 生命之书. I think that's also a pretty good one. And it's, again, very similar. It brings me a lot of presence and a lot of calmness. And a lot of the opinions, or I wouldn't say opinion, a lot of the things described in a book, I feel like it's, if we can really practice that in life, then possibly, I will lose my job, but that's a good thing to see. I hope one day I'll lose my job, like all the coaches, all the people are able to do some like self-coaching, and
that's like a dream world, that there's no problem for everyone to solve. Like, everyone
there will be problems, but if we can use the coaching way, an effective way to communicate and resolve it, and we are curious, we are open to listen to what other people is really trying to say, then there's a lot more understanding and support and love, nurturing between each other. That, I think, that will be a fabulous world.
And you can finally retire after that. That's great.
Or can do something else.
Who
knows?
You can do something else. And one last question is how to find you if people are listening who's interesting and
Oh,
they might want to reach out or like connect or know more about coaching.
all right. Yeah. Happy to email me. I think that's the best way because I check my email every day. And it's hello at lifepotentialnz.com because I'm from New Zealand. So it's hello at lifepotentialnz.com. You just spell life potential. And I'm happy to give you the email address and the website and whatever you need to put in the show notes.
Yep. Yeah, I would put them on the show note. And yeah,
Yeah.
that's
And my WeChat official account probably as well. Yeah.
cool. Thanks, Chow. I think, yeah, I really enjoyed the conversation today and look forward
Thank
to
you.
see when you'll come back to China, sorry, to Auckland. Well, I will, because we are planning to go back to China for a holiday, but
Ooh,
seems it's
nice.
so expensive right now, so probably not
Oh, is
happen.
that?
Yeah, still
Okay.
like take too much money for doing that.
Oh, yeah,
Well,
quarantine and
as a
everything. Yeah,
as a
that's true.
family, because as an individual it's cheaper, but as a family it's quite expensive. But yeah, and
Okay.
I'll put all the things for the people who's listening on the show notes. And yeah, thanks for sharing, and stay
Thank
tuned
you.
for the next episode.
Thanks. So nice to chat to everyone today. Wish you all have a blissful day. Thank you.